Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate your time. My name is Elisa Vog. I'm a senior teacher and a data trainer at Green Country, and today we are going to talk about something that is already changing teaching quite a lot, and that is AI. Now, before we start, I just want to understand who I'm speaking to today. So let's do a quick check. And the first question to you, how familiar are you with AI tools? You can choose the best option from the list, A, B, C, or D. Okay, great. I see different answers. That's nice. That's actually perfect because this session is designed for all of you, especially if you are somewhere between I've tried it and I'm not sure what I'm doing, right? Now, one more question. How much time do you spend lesson planning? Okay. Mhm. Yes. Again, I see really different answers from A to D. Yeah, I do agree that lesson planning is really time consuming, and sometimes it can take even more than 1 hour. And this is exactly where we're starting today. Let's be honest and admit that teaching is not just teaching. Yeah, a huge part of our job happens outside the classroom, planning lessons, adapting materials, creating tasks, thinking about what will work, what won't work. And very often it feels, I say, repetitive. You create a worksheet, next week you need another one, you prepare speaking questions. Next group needs something slightly different. You adjust some grammar tasks again and again. And the problem is not that we don't know how to do it, the problem is time. So here is another quick question. What takes the most time for you? Is it creating materials from scratch, adapting materials for different levels, finding something engaging for students, or all of the above? Again, you can choose the best option from A to D and type the answer to the chat. Mhm. Okay, thank you for your answers. And this is where AI can actually make a difference. So, today we will take a closer look at AI. We'll try to identify and discuss what is AI. We'll also take a look at what AI can and can't do for us teachers. We'll also talk with you about prompting, how to give correct and good prompts to AI assistants. We will discover a lot and different AI tools which can help us teachers and support us. And we'll also take a look at some classroom examples, yeah, how to use AI assistants or just some AI tools in our lessons, in our classes. And yes, before we go any further, let's actually define what we mean by AI. Because we use this word a lot, but not everyone understands it in the same way. So, in simple terms, AI, or artificial intelligence, is technology that can process information and generate responses in a way that looks similar to human thinking. So, in other words, it can read, it can write, it can analyze, it can create content based on the input it receives, but it doesn't think like a human, and this is very, very important. It doesn't understand meaning in the same way we do. It works based on patterns. It has been trained on a huge amount of data, and it predicts what the most likely answer is. So when you ask AI something and it doesn't know the answer, it generates the most probable response. Now, before we continue, I want to address something that many people are thinking about, even if they don't say it out loud. There is a lot of fear about AI today. Some people worry that AI will replace teachers. And others, they can imagine something even much bigger, like machines taking over and completely replacing humans. Let me say this very clearly. AI is not designed to replace people, and it is definitely not becoming an independent system that makes its own decisions in the way humans do. It doesn't have intentions, it doesn't have goals, it doesn't have awareness. What is actually happening is something different. The world is changing in a way where people who know how to use AI will have some benefits, will have an advantage, not because they are replaced, but because they are more efficient. I'd say more flexible and often even more creative in how they work. So the real shift is not AI will replace teachers. The real shift is teachers who use AI will replace those who don't. And this is especially important for us because as teachers, we are not only adapting ourselves, we are also preparing our students for the future. So, do you think knowing how to use AI will become an essential skills for students? Choose the best answer and type it to the chat, please. Mhm. Exactly. This is quickly becoming as a basic tool, a basic skill, like using the internet or working with some digital tools, right? And that means something important for us as educators, as teachers. We are not just learning AI for ourselves, we're also modeling how to use it responsibly and effectively. So instead of being afraid of AI, the better question is how can I use it in a way that actually supports my teaching, right? And this is exactly what we're going to explore today. Um, I think one of the biggest problems with AI is that it feels either too complicated or too hyped. So let's bring it down and to something very practical. AI, first of all, is not magic. It's not something you need to be afraid of. And it's definitely not something that will replace teachers, yes. What it is really is a tool, is a very fast tool. And I think this is the best way to think about it. Not as a brain, not as a teacher, but as something that can help you generate content quickly. So, for example, you can ask it to create some worksheets, generate some discussion questions, explain some grammar points, rewrite a text at a simpler level, yeah. And it will do it. It will do it almost instantly, right? And we can say that that's impressive, but also at the same time, slightly dangerous if we don't think about it critically. Because here is the key point: AI doesn't actually understand what it's doing. It doesn't know language the way we do. It doesn't understand students. It doesn't have teaching experience. It predicts, it generates based on some patterns. So when you ask it something, it doesn't think, is it the best task or activity for this group of learners? It thinks, what is the most likely answer based on the data I have? And sometimes that works really well, but sometimes it doesn't. And let me ask you something. Do you think AI always give correct answers? Okay, thank you. Yes, I see your answers. Most of us would say that sometimes, yeah, not always, sometimes. And that's the mindset that we actually need. Not blind trust, but not a fear either, because research clearly shows that AI does make mistakes. In fact, there is even a term for it, AI hallucinations. This is when AI gives information that sounds correct, but it is actually wrong. They happen because Gen AI designed to predict, as I already mentioned, yeah, predict the most likely next word, not to verify facts. Yeah. For example, in some studies, AI systems produced incorrect or partially incorrect answers in around 30% to even 70% of cases, depending on the task and the model. And in certain situations, especially when the AI doesn't know the answer, the error rate can be even higher. So a good question. Why does this happen, right? Because AI doesn't actually check facts the way we do. It predicts what sounds like a good answer. So instead of saying, I don't know, it often gives you something that looks correct. And this is the tricky part. The answer is not just wrong, it is confidently wrong. So let me ask you something. What is more dangerous, an answer that is clearly wrong or an answer that looks correct but isn't? Mhm. Exactly, the second one, because you might not even question it, right? And that's why we need this mindset. AI is helpful, but it always needs a human check. So again, not blind trust, but also not fear, just awareness. So, this brings us to a very important idea. We need to be very clear about roles. AI generates, you decide, right? AI gives us some options, and you just choose what works the best. AI saves our time, but you need to ensure its quality. And I think this is where many teachers feel a bit uncomfortable at first because it feels like losing control. You're not no longer creating everything yourself. Something else is, I mean, AI, yeah, something else is producing content for you. But actually, I must say that you are not losing control. You are shifting your role from creating everything from the very beginning, from scratch, to just evaluating, adapting, and improving. And one more thing that I have to mention, that you're not just a passive user, you can actually guide AI, teach it. Um, you can teach it what you need. I mean, not in a technical way, but through your prompts. Um, the more clearly you explain what you want, for whom, and in what format, the better the results become. And even more importantly, you can correct it. You can say, this is too difficult for my students. Yeah, this is not accurate, or change this part, substitute this for that. And yeah, and of course, AI will do this for you. It will adjust. So over time, your interaction becomes better, not because AI changes, but because you learn how to communicate with it more effectively. And let me ask you, do you usually correct or refine AI answers? Mhm. All right. If your answer is A or B, this is a huge opportunity, yeah, because this is exactly where the quality improves. So, if you remember just one idea from this part, let it be this, that AI is a tool, not a replacement, not a solution to everything, but a very powerful support for us teachers, if you use it well. All right. Now that we have this foundation, let's move on to what AI can and can't do in real teaching practice. Um, so, um, okay. Before I show you anything, I really want to hear from you. What do you think AI can actually do for you as teachers? So, could you please type some answers to the chat? Or if you use AI, you can just write, what do you usually use it for? Yeah, what do AI help you with? Okay, nice. Perfect. I see a lot of wonderful ideas. Great. Thank you very much. Um, and something that is the most common, that's saving time, generating ideas, yeah, creating some materials, helping with explanation, and that's already a very strong starting point. So let's go a bit deeper and which of these feels the most valuable for you right now? Is it saving time, getting new ideas, creating ready-to-use materials, or support with explanations? Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Saving time is the clear winner. And honestly, that makes total sense because as teachers, the problem is usually not I don't know how to do this. Yeah, the problem is I don't have time to do this again and again. Lesson planning, adapting materials, creating activities. And it's not difficult. It's just repetitive and becomes even boring for us. And this is exactly where AI becomes really valuable. So let's one more question. Yeah, what AI what do you think AI can do really effectively, kind of the best? Yes, exactly. Everything except D, right? So let's take a look at this in a more structured way. What exactly can AI help you with in your everyday teaching? I will show you a few key areas, and you will probably recognize many of them. And the first one that AI can do and AI can help us with, that is, of course, lesson planning. AI can generate lesson stages. I mean, leading practice can be controlled practice, freer practice, and rope up productive activities. Yeah, it can suggest us some activities, timing, of course, some materials. So instead of starting from the very beginning, you start with a structure. Yeah, it gives you some ideas, it gives you some material, it gives you some activities, scratch. Yeah, and you just adjust it, adapt it to your students needs, and according to your group. So you don't need to start from the very beginning from scratch anymore. um, The next one that AI can help us with, that's of course visuals and materials. Um, Today we have a lot of tools like Canva AI, some generators, right? And some other platforms that can create pictures, flashcards, posters, presentations, infographics, right? This is especially useful for visual learners, and it also saves a lot of preparation time, and you can make your lesson more colorful, more bright, yeah, brighter, and it you can create any picture you need. Yeah, you don't have to spend hours and hours surfing and looking for the best picture on the internet. You just need to ask any AI tool to help you with creating the best picture you need. Another one that we can add to this list, that is, of course, adapting text. This is a big one. Very often, our course book texts are too difficult or too simple for our students, or very often we want to use some authentic materials, some articles, right, or even news, but they are not suitable, and AI can simplify text. It can adjust level, replace difficult vocabulary with a simpler one, and of course it will keep the meaning, but still it will make it teachable. And this is extremely useful for lessons, and especially for reading classes or CLIL lessons, right? One more thing, that is given feedback, and that is another very practical use, because AI, you can use AI to check your students' writings. It can help you highlight mistakes, explain errors, suggest improvements. It will even rewrite text as a model, right? And you can even ask your AI to write a full feedback message to your student. Yeah, you can give an example, and it will give you a proper, a really good feedback that you can just copy and paste and send it to your student. So this also saves a lot of time. Another idea that we've got here, that's speaking prompts and role plays. AI is really good for creating some speaking activities. It can generate discussion questions, role play situations, yeah, some role plays, um, dialogues, even follow-up questions for the activities, functional phrases. So instead of thinking of and writing a dialogue or looking for the best dialogue on the internet, you get a base in seconds with the help of the AI tool. And one more, that's gamifying learning. You can use AI to make your lessons more engaging. If you have a boring activity, you can ask AI to turn it into a game. Yeah, for example, you got a controlled practice activity. Yeah, for a grammar lesson, controlled practice activity, and you can take a look at it and think that, oh, that's really boring. My students will hate it. So you can ask your AI to turn it into a game, for example, Kahoot questions, yeah, or Wayground questions, and or even any other game. And if you ask it to create another game, interactive game, it will definitely give you the rules, game rules. It will create the rules for you. It will definitely give you step-by-step instructions. And yeah, as I already mentioned, you can ask to create. You can ask it to create some quiz questions, for example, Kahoot, and you will see that you get the same content, but in a completely different activity. So another one that we've got here, that's differentiation. AI is really amazing for mixed level classes, mixed ability classes. You can take one activity that you've got in your course book and ask AI to make it easier or to make it more challenging. And instantly you get different versions. And you can give this easier activity for weaker students and more challenging activity for stronger students. And you don't have to spend hours and hours adapting those activities. And the last one, which is also very, very important, that's lesson reflection and improvement. You can use AI after your lesson. For example, you can send your lesson plan, tell your AI how the lesson went. Yeah, what do you think was good? What do you think was bad? And you can ask him to help you improve it, or suggest some alternative activities, or alternative ways of some lesson stages. Yeah, this is like having a teaching assistant. Yeah, you can use it as your tutor. And one more thing that is not mentioned here, but very useful for you if you have your own language school or some language courses. Yeah, AI can help you with writing emails or creating some reports, right? Or even writing course descriptions. Yeah, things that take time but don't require creativity, right? So for some administrative tasks, right? So as you can see, AI can do a lot. It can create, it can generate, it can adapt, it can support, and it can do it very, very fast. So, um, but as we already mentioned, that it has some limitations, yeah? Let's look at the other side, that AI is not good at people. It doesn't understand emotions. It doesn't read the room, the class, right? It doesn't notice when your students are bored, confused, or tired. It doesn't see when someone didn't understand the instructions. It doesn't see when someone is too shy to speak or someone who needs more challenge. And these are things that actually define a good lesson. Because the most complex part of teaching is not content, it's interaction. And this is something we often underestimate because as teachers, we usually do it automatically. We adjust, we react, we change things at the moment. But AI can't do it, but it can help us with some suggestions or solutions, right? But unfortunately, it can see all of this. So let's summarize this part. AI is excellent at generating content, saving time, giving some ideas, right? But is not good at understanding students, making some real-time decisions, and reacting in the moment. So the key idea that AI is great at content, teachers are great at context. And of course, we need both. And this is exactly what makes the difference between just using AI and using it well. So now we are moving to what I would probably call the most important practical skill in the whole session, the art of prompt crafting. So let me ask you something. Have you ever asked AI something and thought, this is not what I wanted at all? Just choose the best answer. Is it yes, sometimes, or rarely? Mhm. Yes. And this is exactly a prompting issue. Let's start with a very simple. A prompt is the instruction or input that you give to an AI tool, for example, ChatGPT or Gemini. And if we simplify it, AI is your assistant, and the prompt is your clear instructions. And the quality of what you get depends definitely on the quality what you give. So there is a very simple phrase that explains this perfectly. Garbage in, garbage out. If your question is unclear, incomplete, or too general, vague, um, the answer will also be unclear, incomplete, and not very useful. So let me show you a simple comparison. You can see two prompts here and choose the prompt that you like the most or you feel that will work the best. Is it prompt one or prompt two? Definitely. Mhm. Yes. If we take a look at the first prompt, yeah, that's a very basic prompt. Give me a lesson plan for vocabulary. So, what happens? You get something very general. Yeah, let's take a look. I've asked ChatGPT to work on this prompt, yeah, to generate a lesson, to create a lesson. With this very prompt and what you can see, yeah, you get something very general, but no level, no context, no structure that really fits your class. Um, I mean that it looks okay, you can use it, but it's not something you can actually use it with your class, with your students, because we haven't mentioned a lot of necessary stuff. And let's now look at a beta version. Oops. Yeah, that is prompt two. We've mentioned here the duration of the lesson, age of our students, topic of the lesson. We mentioned the structure of the lesson, yeah, that we need a warm up, vocabulary presentation, controlled practice, less controlled practice, fun, productive speaking activity. And we also ask it to make it interactive and game based. And what's the result? We got something useful. Yes, we've got a good warm up in a way of game, then vocabulary, presentation, yeah, you need categorizing, yeah, countable, uncountable also we mentioned that it gives us, and some other activities for controlled, less controlled practice, and even productive speaking activity, a restaurant role play, yeah. So, oops. Sorry. Yeah, so we can say that, yeah, so we can say that that was, yeah, the second prompt is much better. It gives us almost everything that we needed. So we will get clear structure, clear stages, practical ideas, something that you actually work with. Of course, it needs some adaptations, but still you can use it. So the difference is not the tool, the difference is the prompt. AI is powerful, but it needs directions. So now let's break this down into clear and practical principles. There are the things that will immediately improve your results. Before we take a look at the core principles, I suggest you to take a look at some prompt examples for different purposes, yeah, for vocabulary, for speaking, and gamifying and summarizing or whatever. Yeah, you can just take a look at them and spot some common things. Yeah, you can just scan them, skim. You see that in some of the full screen. Yeah, sure. Okay. Is it bigger now? Is it better? Mhm. So yeah, as you can see, you can spot there some common principles, yeah, some common thing that we set a role here for our AI assistant, yeah, for example, act as a CELTA certified teacher, or you're an ESL teacher. Yeah, we also mentioned here the level of our students, for example, B1 level, A2 students, yeah. We have some limitations. Yeah, needs to work in breakout rooms on Zoom, yeah. So, and keep it under 100 words, yeah. So, yes. And now let's take a look. Oops. Let's take a look at, 1 second. All right, sorry. Yeah, let's take a look at some core principles, yes, that we need to take into account when writing a prompt. So I'll share with you some tips on how to write the best prompt. The first one, you need to set a role. Tell your AI who it is. Yeah, for example, you are an experienced English teacher, or you are a creative ESL tutor. So why does this help? Because it sets the tone and the style of the response. The next one that is also useful, that's to define the goal. What exactly do you want? Yeah, for example, help me create a speaking activity for A2 teenagers. Without a goal, you will get some random content, and with a goal, of course, you get focused output. And do not forget to include the level and the audience. Yeah, always specify level, age, type of learners, because the same activity for A1 kids and B2 adults is completely different. It is also necessary to specify the format. What do you want the result to look like? For example, give me a table, create a step-by-step plan, write a dialogue. This makes the result much easier to use. And you can also add some context. Um, what are you teaching right now? For example, we are learning present perfect and past simple, and this helps AI connect the tasks to your lesson. And do not forget to set limitations. This is very powerful but often ignored step. You can control the difficulty. For example, use simple vocabulary or avoid phrasal verbs. This makes the output more appropriate for your students, right? And one more good idea, that's to give examples if you've got some, or if you already have a model, you can show it. And AI is very good at following examples. Yeah, if you used to work with a specific lesson plan structure, you can send him it. Yeah, you can send it a structure of your usual lesson plan and ask it to follow the structure that you've got. And yeah, as I already said, AI is very good at following examples or some structures that you already give it. And iterate. Yeah, don't stop at the first answer. This is extremely important. Your first result is just a draft, and you can always say make it simpler, add more interaction, turn it into a game. And yes. And another one that we have to mention, that what to avoid in our prompts. First of all, um, just the most important, and that's being too vague. Yeah, avoid being too vague. For example, create something for my lesson. Yeah, this will not work well. You need to provide some details. And another idea, that's avoid overloading a one prompt. Sometimes teachers try to ask AI for everything at once, very long, very complex instructions, and think of it as working with your students. Yes, we usually break longer instructions or complicated activities into smaller steps. So the same here. It's better to break long and complicated instructions into several steps. For example, first create activity, then simplify it, and then turn it into a game or any other activity you want. Um, it will definitely give you much better results. And you might be thinking this is a lot to remember, and that's true. Here is some good news. You don't have to do everything alone. There are some tools that can help you write better prompts. And you can see those tools here on the screen. You can use those AI prompt generator to generate, yeah, to create better prompts. What do? They help you structure your request, they help you make it clearer, and they help you improve your prompt automatically. So you can even if you don't want to use some extra tools, those tools that you can see here on the screen, you can even ask your AI assistant to improve your prompt that you're preparing. Yes, first work on a prompt with your AI assistant and only then work on the results. And yes, um, all right. Now we're going to do a little hands-on activity. This is your chance to practice everything we've just learned. Yeah. Here is a starting prompt. Yeah, you will see a very simple prompt, a vague one. Yeah. And your task is to make it better. Yeah, it's too vague and no level, no age, no context, no structure, nothing. And your task is to improve this prompt. You can add some details like the level of your students, age of your students, topic, type of activity. Yeah, what do you want? Speaking, writing, reading, or listening activity. A lesson structure, if you want a whole lesson. Yeah, or only some parts. Yeah, maybe you want only a lead-in or only grammar presentation or only controlled or less controlled practice. And of course, do not forget to add some limitations or special instructions like simple vocabulary, avoid phrasal verbs, or make it interactive. Yeah. So take a few minutes, 1, 2 minutes, yeah, to work a little bit on this prompt and send it to the chat, please. Great, thank you. It's clear. Yeah, your prompts are clear, specific, actionable, right? And the AI now knows exactly what to do. So you can also try to take your improved prompt, open any AI assistant, any AI tool, and see the actual lesson plan it generates. Yeah, and you can also compare it with the first VAC version. Yeah, nice. Um, Great. Thank you. So the key idea here is very simple. Prompting is not about using complicated language. It's about clarity. Yeah, it's about knowing what you want and explaining it step by step. And once you understand this, AI stops being random and starts becoming predictable and useful. So now that you know how to write better prompts, let's see what this actually looks like in practice. Yeah, we'll move on to the next part of our session, and it is about AI tools. Before I show you my list of tools that I've prepared for you and that I am familiar with, I want to start with you. Which AI tools do you already use in your teaching? Or maybe which tools have you heard about? Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Mhm. Okay. Yes. Thank you. All right. Yeah. We can spot that there are a lot of answers about ChatGPT, um, Gemini, right? And that's great. But before we go into tools, I want to say one important thing. Um, that it's not about using many tools. It's about using the right tools for your needs. You don't need 10 tools. You need two, three that you understand well. So today I will show you a range of options, a lot of AI tools, and you can decide what works for you, what tools are the best for you, and what tools will definitely save your time and help you a lot. I've divided them into several categories. You can see there are six categories, and these are some tools for everyday teaching tasks. Think of them as your teaching assistants that are always available, right? Um, and let's start with those which are the most familiar to you, right? Tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and Poe are called conversational AI tools because you interact with them through natural language, just like chatting with a person. And yeah, AI assistants. Yeah, as I already mentioned, I've prepared four of them for you. These tools are especially powerful because they can simulate communication, which is exactly what language learning is about. You can use them to create level appropriate materials. Yeah, for example, create A2 reading about daily routines. Then you can work a little bit with it, simplify, adapt, personalize it for your students, differentiate some instructions. I mean, when you have the same topic by but different levels, yeah, you can generate some speaking activities instantly. You can use it to as a speaking partner for your students. Why not? You can use it to give feedback on writing. Yeah, for all of the stuff that we have already mentioned. And yes, if you take a look at ChatGPT, yeah, so it's definitely perfect for some lesson ideas, adapting tasks, feedback. I'd say almost for everything, yeah. And the next one that you are familiar already with, that's Google Gemini. You can ask it to summarize a Google Doc. It's really good at summarizing Google documents. You can use it for some other stuff that we have already discussed here for ChatGPT, right? Almost for everything, as we said. And the only thing that Google Gemini is really good at working with all of the stuff that is based on Google, yeah, Google Docs, Google Slides. It can also generate an email or a newsletter to parents here or whatever. So that is something that Google Gemini is really good at. Claude. And Claude is really good at long text assistance with working with long text, right? You can upload a PDF, you can upload here a lesson plan or a student essay, and Claude can read it, summarize it, or even provide feedback. And one more thing that I noticed that Claude is really good at identifying handwritten text. Yeah, when your students give you some handwritten essays, homework, yeah, you can upload this picture to Claude, and it works really good with it. The next category that we've got here, and Poe, yeah, I didn't mention Poe. So I really like it very much because this AI platform is giving you access to multiple AI models in one place. I mean that you can send it a prompt and compare different answers from different AI tools. Can be Claude, for example, ChatGPT and Gemini, and you can compare and choose the best result for you. So yeah, that's really good. And another category that I've got here, that's visual and content creation tools. So I'm pretty sure that you are using ChatGPT for creating some images, but there are some other tools that you can use. And the first one, that's these tools are really helpful for they help you bring your lessons to life visually, yeah, which is especially important for younger learners, teenagers, students with low motivation, or some visual learners, right? Because in language teaching, what students see, what they remember, right, equals what they remember. So the first one that we got here, that's Canva, that Canva, which is with AI. Today, Canva is much more bigger than just design. It's a full content creation tool for teachers because you can create here some slides for lesson, worksheets, flashcards, posters, games, even matching, yeah, quizzes, boards, and so on. So you can use it for vocabulary presentations. You can create some interactive worksheets here where students just drag and drop. You can work on speaking prompts here. Yeah, I mean picture-based discussions. Yeah, what's happening in the picture, and maybe um, yeah, creating pictures, of course. The next one is Pictory AI. Um, and this tool turns text into video, which is perfect for modern students. It can convert scripts or articles into short videos. It can add visuals, subtitles, voice, yeah, so you can use it for listening practice, maybe for warm-up activities or lead-ins, yeah, or for some students' tasks where students you can ask your students to create video or maybe retell stories, present some topics or whatever. And the last one that I've got here on the list, that's Nana Banana. I mean that Nana Banana, which is inside Gemini. Nowadays, it is considered one of the best tools for generating or creating pictures. So what it does, of course, it creates images from your prompts. You can use different styles here of the picture, yeah, and it generates visual scenes instantly, so you can use it again when you want your students to describe pictures, maybe guess pictures, or just discuss them. You can use them for creative tasks, yeah, maybe when students have to write about their dream house, and then you can ask them to use this very tool to create an image of this dream house, yeah. Or you can use it, I mean that you can ask your students to use it to generate some pictures. And the next category that we move to is audio and speaking tools. These tools are essential if you want to develop listening or speaking skills, especially when you don't have ready audio or you need different accents. Yeah. This Let's start with 11 Labs. This is one of the most realistic AI voice tools available. And you can quickly turn text into natural sounding speech. You can generate different accents, British, American, Australian, even and even Indian, if it's not strange. Yeah, you can control speed, tone, style. So yeah, this works really good here. And of course, you can create your own listening materials with the help of this tool. You can adapt difficulty easily, yeah, slower speech for lower levels, natural speed for higher levels, pronunciation modeling, yeah, students can listen and repeat. Um, and accent exposure, as I already mentioned, yeah, you can give students variety, British versus American accent. So this solves a big problem because textbook audio is often limited or even may sound unnatural. So this is something that can help you. And another one that is ttsmp3.com. It is pretty similar to the previous one, but it's a little bit simpler and I'd say more accessible alternative. It also can convert text into speech. It can offer multiple voices and accents. It is quick and easy to use. But yeah, you can try both and choose which is best for you and easier for you. This one is really good because you can change pitch, you can add pauses, emphasis, and even whispers. I'm not sure whether you can do it in 11 Labs, but this one is really good for making whispering with the same voice because in 11 Labs you need to choose another voice in order to add whispering, but this here you can use the same voice. And the next category that is added here, that's interactive and engagement tools. I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with some of them. That is Kahoot, Quizlet. Yes, we are familiar with them as with free tools. But if you decide to buy a subscription, yeah, you will benefit from some AI tools. And if we talk about Kahoot, you can just generate some quizzes, or you can just upload a PDF version of a quiz of material, yeah, and you will get a ready-made Kahoot. So yeah, that is something that can make your life easier. And the same with Quizlet, but in Quizlet there is a bigger range of options that you can do if you have a better subscription. Quizlet AI can help you with making flashcards. It can be it can create some practice tests, it can quickly summarize PDFs, and it can be your tutor or a tutor for your students. Yeah, and yep, this is very good one. Another tool that I've got here, that's QRepot, and this one is really great. Um, because this tool helps you create interactive and student-centered lessons in minutes. What it can do, it can generate slides automatically. It can add live questions. Students answer in real time, pretty similar to Mentimeter, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it can include some polls, word clouds, open-ended responses, and so on. So it's really perfect for some warm-ups. It will definitely make really engaging warm-ups. speaking support, vocabulary revision, and of course, shy students because they can participate without speaking immediately, and it lowers their anxiety. So yeah, it is really good for shy students. Um, and the next activity that I've got here on the list, that's crowd party. A less known but very fun tool for interactive group activities. If your students like having fun in classes, play different games, so you can definitely use it. It offers some mini games, team challenges, interactive tasks. It's pretty similar to Kahoot, but there are not only quizzes but also bingo games. As far as I remember, kind of Alias and some other games. So there are a lot of different games. So yeah, you can just discover it a little bit, and probably you will like it. And the next category is very useful for us as teachers because it is teaching focused tools. These tools are built specifically for teachers. So, unlike general AI like GPT, Gemini, or some other AI assistants, they already understand lesson structure, different levels, and classroom needs. So they save time. They save you time because they are more structured and ready to use. So the first one that I've got here, that's Defeat. This is one of the most practical tools for language teaching, especially if you work with mixed level groups. What it does, it takes any text can be article, story, textbook, and it adapts it to different levels from A1 to C1. It can generate for you some comprehension questions, vocabulary lists, summaries, some activities. So yeah, it is really good in adapting some articles for your CLIL lessons, for example, yeah, some articles or news, whatever, yeah. And the next one is TWE. This tool is designed specifically for ESL teachers, so it's very fast for daily preparation. What it does, it generates discussion questions, dialogues, grammar exercises, vocabulary tasks. So you can use it to upgrade some textbook materials. It can, if you take any boring exercise, it will generate for you some more examples, communicative tasks, personalized questions. Yeah, it can help you with dialogue building. And yeah, um, that's it. The next one, that's Eddie IDAI. Think of this as a structured teaching assistant. What it does well, first of all, it can give you full lesson plans with objectives which are clear and measurable, with some rubrics for speaking or writing, and differentiated activities. So, when you feel stuck or tired, you can generate a full lesson and then just adapt it. You can use it for professional teaching structure, yeah, with some clear aims, logical stages, and assessment criteria, yeah. So this one is really good at this. So I mean that this tool is less creative but more pedagogically organized, yeah. So if you are looking for lesson plans with all of those objectives, aims, and so on, so you can definitely use it. And the last one that is the newest for me, yeah, I got acquainted with it just a few days ago. That's Chalky AI. This tool is more likely a creative partner for teachers because it can help you with some lesson ideas. It can generate some tasks, classroom activities. You just need to pick a topic, level of your students. Yeah, I mean, grade. You just need how many activities or kind of pages you need, and it will help you with everything. So, yep. So these tools don't replace you, yeah, but um, I'd say amplify you. Yeah, they help you prepare faster, teach more, create creatively, and adapt to students better. And of course, focus on interaction, not different worksheets. And the last one that I've got here on the list, that's research and fact-checking tools. These tools are like smart search engines with AI inside, and they are extremely important when you need accuracy and reliability, not just ideas. They are Perplexity AI and U.com. Unlike tools like ChatGPT, these platforms are designed to provide answers with sources, with reliable sources. They show where information comes from and help you verify facts. Yeah, as we mentioned, that we need to verify everything that AI gives to us. So for this stuff, you can use these two resources. Um, so this is yeah. Now, let's think which of these tools, AI tools, do you want to try and discover a little bit? Which of these AI tools do you feel that will be the most useful for you? All right. Yeah. Hope that um, Yeah, I hope that you will try some of the AI tools that are here on the list and hope that you will like them and use them while preparing for your lessons and hope that they will save you a lot of time and make your lessons more engaging and interactive. So now I want to show you what this actually looks like in real teaching, not theory, not tools, but real classroom situations. These are simple examples of how you can use AI before or even during your lesson. So just imagine a situation. You have a B1 group, you planned your lesson, but suddenly you realize that you need one more speaking activity because there are for about 10-15 minutes left till the end of the lesson, yeah. And instead of spending several or even 5 or even more minutes looking for the best questions on the internet or in some course books, yeah, or creating these questions on spot, yeah, you can open AI and write, create a B1 speaking activity about travel with 5 discussion questions and useful phrases. Yeah, and let's take a look at the result that we've got. I used ChatGPT for this very activity. I inserted the prompt here, and what I do, I change 5 into 15 because I usually ask it to create some more questions and then I choose only 5 out of those 15 questions. It saves me some time because I don't have to and to ask it to change or to add some more questions, I already have 15 and I choose 15 5 the best questions for me. And it also gives me some useful phrases, even I didn't ask him about it. So yeah, that's, and even some optional extensions. So yeah, as you can see, only in a few seconds. Um, of course, it's not perfect, yeah, but it gives you some structure, some ideas, and of course, something that you can use immediately in your lesson, and it will help you. Let's imagine the next situation. You want to use an authentic article, yeah, but it's too difficult. So instead of simplifying it manually, you can ask any AI tool to rewrite this text, for example, for A2 students. And for this very activity, I decided to use DFID because it's the best at adapting some text. And let's take a look. I've chosen this very article. What is AI? How to apps like ChatGPT work and why? Yeah, really good article. Um, but as you can see, with a lot of complicated vocabulary, a lot of difficult sentences, so I use DFID. I insert the link and I ask it to adapt this very article. So I insert a prompt. Rewrite this text for A2 students, and as you can see, it gives you some suggestions of prompts. Yeah, so you can choose the best one if you're not sure in yours. And it takes a few minutes for thinking, aligning, organizing everything. And let's take a look at the result. What I got. I downloaded a PDF worksheet, and you can see that there is adapted text, and it even generated some pictures. So yeah, I really liked it. Why not? You can also ask it to create some activities. I didn't ask, but yeah, you can ask it to create some activities to this article. And the next situation, um, it's a little bit different because here students are using AI themselves. Let's imagine you're teaching a topic like animals, and instead of giving students information, yeah, you turn it into a task. For example, you give them a quiz. What is the fastest animal in the world? What is the biggest, the heaviest animal? Yeah. And instead of guessing the answers, students can use AI. Their task is to use ChatGPT or another AI tool to find the correct answer. But here is important part. You don't say just use AI and find the best answer. Yeah, find the correct answer. You should guide them. You can show them how to write a clear prompt, how to check if the answer makes sense, how to you can also ask them to compare the answers with their partner. Yeah, so that's necessary to guide your students and to show how to work with AI. This activity does two things at the same time. It practices language, first of all, and it teaches a real life skill because today students don't just need English, they need to know how to work with information, how to use and how to use AI responsibly. And the very last situation that I've got here, that's that you can use AI as a debate partner. Yeah, for example, you've got you give your students a topic, discussion topic. Should students use AI for homework? And the students can work in pairs. You can ask one student to use AI to generate arguments for the idea, and another student can ask AI to generate arguments against this idea. Yeah. Especially it is useful when you're in lack of time, when you see that you have enough time for debates, but you don't have enough time for coming up with some ideas, yeah, to make your students come up with some ideas. So that's why you can ask them to give 3 arguments against and give 3 arguments for this idea. So now they don't start from zero, they have some ideas, and it's easier and quicker to organize all of the debates. And you can also, if you've got an individual student, you can also ask this student to use an AI tool as a partner for a conversation. Yeah. And yeah, this is also a nice idea. All right. Um, let's take a moment to bring everything together. Today we talked about AI not as something abstract, but as something very, very practical, something you can actually use in your teaching. And now you know everything, almost everything about what AI can and can't do for you. You already know how to create really good prompts to get the best answer you need. You already have a good toolkit of different AI tools, and now you're already familiar with some examples that you can, in what kind of cases you can use AI. There are much more cases because you can use AI almost for everything. So yes. Let's reflect a little bit, and I would like to hear from you. What is one thing from today's session that you will try this week? Maybe it's a tool, or maybe it's an idea what you can use AI for. Could you please type your answers to the chat? All right, yeah, thank you for your ideas. Yeah, I see that some of you would like to try different AI tools. That's great. And the other thing that I want to add that using AI is not about being less professional. It's not about doing less work. It's about focusing your effort on the parts that really matter. Yeah, your students, your decisions, your teaching, because AI can help you create faster, but AI cannot replace your judgment. So the goal is not to let AI do your job. The goal is to let AI support your work. And if you use it thoughtfully, it can save your time, reduce stress, and give you more space for what really matters in the classroom. And don't forget to teach your students use AI. Don't be afraid of asking your students in lessons to use AI. So yeah, that that is that's it. Thank you very much for being here today. And I hope you will start using some AI, some new AI tools, or just AI in general in your teaching very soon. And see you in our next sessions. So see you. Bye bye.